Thunder Radio, where we groove as the spirit moves. Yeah. Drawing the honey from the rock with the righteous Reverend Doctor on Booming Thunder Radio.
Seek first the kingdom and the righteousness of the Son, and all these other things will be given unto you, mighty friend. Good morning, Brother TC, coming at you live from a bayou unseen, a swamp drained, a levee broke. Ye, the iron mixed with clay. Ye, 10 toes being stepped on, y'all. Oh, may the mystery of the kingdom of heaven be as the hope of glory in your children's hearts, that their prayers for you to become faithful as a little child, as they are faithful in all you do for them as their Father, that the unseen, the unknowable one, the ones whose will is in heaven and manifested upon the earth by his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Spirit of truth that comes and reveals himself, and the bride in your heart, that once it's circumcised and the living word can move in and out of the gate, yea, a higher consciousness than the miracle valleys, ye, of a dancing jubilee time ago. Yeah, let that place be for our brothers, the buffalo soldiers in the land. Yeah, let our treasured Marine Corps brother, ye, be the mighty leader in that wilderness land. The rod of iron had been given, ye, the scales, ye, of the fish felt in the handle of the hand who holds the rod and swings the hammer, yea, and draws the honey, pouring it out, guarding the greenness of the jar. Yeah, the things seen dimly, but in the fullness of the Son, the revelation of the Torah taught by the Son of Glory. Yea, when you breathe that Ruach and walk with the Spirit of truth in your breath and step, brother, yea, a humbled man, never ignorant upon the land, humble and patient, a Hon3y warrior who knows the things of the past and knows the things that are in the living word. And so the Father Yea, the living word come alive in our hearts and our souls. It makes us walk the world in this way. A world unseen. This world corrupted by mystery Babylon. Yea, mighty friends. Oh, this treasured word of wisdom revealed herself at 566 today. Yes, she opened her pages at 1 Kings 12. And let us be as the gusting wind to the end of 13. Yea, that your double portion, yea, of 13 would be the 26, would be the revelation of the eternal Father, mighty Jehovah, within your tent of meeting, the tabernacle of your mind. He comes in faithfulness and truth to those who love the word. Yea, he walks upon the water in the fourth watch with his faithful sons of love in the earth. And he reveals the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven in the parables he speaks and the word that he reads and reveals unto the faithful assembly, unseen by the blindness of shaggy sheep that are really billy goats, black in their hearts as their hairy outsides. Let them be forgiven, Father. Let their way be counted, and let them be not found wanting. But for you and the revelation and the walk and the glory in the earth. Yea, to live seeing the hope of glory manifested in our grandsons' hearts, guiding them in the peace of everlasting glory from the time they're 6 years old, that all the earth would be infected by their love and their mercy and their humility, and all the earth would be a mustard seed in the children's hearts once more. Yea, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw. Have you ever seen the light, brother? Do you even know what that really means? The kingdom of light. Have you seen the lightning? Have you heard the balls of booming thunder? Seen the balls of lightning that reveal the mystery of heaven? Yea, a world beyond. Yet those that cross over in this world, in this time, by the hearing of the living word, their faith is built. May your faith be bolstered, and may the mortar be as Egyptian gypsum, stronger than the rock that they are molded and hold together. Yeah, let the dust of the earth would blow in the wind not forsake the righteous. That the righteous could stand in having done all that they can stand, and when those that would dare to come against us would, the elect host by our hands and sides, would count each one, for each one would have to die in the way that they would come with iniquity in their heart toward any righteous man upon the earth. Yea, that walks in the love of the truth and the spirit of truth. Yea, there is no darkness in this man. Yea, may you be that man that starts your family, that three-bound cord, that tiller's blade in the earth, that preparing the way for the everlasting glory to manifest and walk upon the living water in the storm of the sea. Yea, that Moshe's word he reveals. Yea, the prophet Moshe spoke of that would come and reveal all things. Yea, Isaiah 53, y'all. It's so perfect. The we of us. Yea, almost unimaginable to the carnal mind, but it's the mind of an anointed son, the one who loves the word, and they're in all the earth unseen. For if they had been made known before their time, like so many that came before us, yea, they would have been laid waste, yea, by Mystery Babylon and the prophets of Baal, yea, and that Jezebel in a woman's heart. Oh, the strong man in the Hebrew. Are you there already? Have you pulled your e-sword out? Let's go to old Brown. Yeah, old Brown driver Briggs, and see what the teals of the iron in the old muddy mire are preparing for the seed this day. Let's see, it's the Hebrew word Hon3y. I didn't say that right, but it means, the BDB definition of the Hebrew word of H566 is eloquent. That seems rather appropriate. It has two other definitions. The first, a man of Yehuda, and the second, an ancestor of one of Nehemiah's helpers. Hallelujah. That the cracks in the wall be filled, that the fat man can dance and sing, his eyes wide open, on top of the wall, even as the razor blade he dances and sings atop the wall. So let's see what the complete word study. Oh, I love the word study because they give us the word, and it's so a living word, mighty friend. You got to get that complete word study now. That thing with the brown drivers and the old Hebrew mindset and the old word study in the Thayer, in the Greek mindset. Works really good. So it's talking about the same thing as the brown drivers, a Judite, and that definition comes from 1 Chronicles 9:4. Utha, the son of Amihud, the son of Omri, the son of, here it is, Imri, H566, the son of Bani, from the sons of Perez, the son of Yehuda. Hallelujah. And that second definition, assistant to Nehemiah, Nehemiah 3:2. Next to him, the men of Jericho, they built. And next to them, Zakur, the son of Imri, there it is, H566, the son of Imri built. Hallelujah. So that you might be inspired to cross over, seeing that, well, hearing and thinking you were going to get a slice of, red velvet cake. But instead you have 3 balls of red velvet ball cake. Red velvet cake balls. 2 dark chocolate and 1 white chocolate. Yeah, let the darkness in our hearts join with the everlasting glory. Yeah, Yahushua HaMashiach. Yeah, and not the Baphomet that blinds the whole earth in their pagan worship. Yeah, may they be forgiven in the Father's perfect time, and may they be given enough wisdom not to ever come against a righteous man. That there are Hon3y warriors in the earth, that if evil would dare come, that their fury would be revealed by those that have been entrusted to them to count the ways of all those that come before them. And never forget the 30,000 archers on each of their hands, those treasured souls taken, their little infant feet parted out, and their 10 toes never being allowed to grace the earth, seen as pieces in a deception unimaginable, this mystery Babylon. Wake up, mighty friends, to what mystery Babylon really is. You either are a part of mystery Babylon, or you are blind to mystery Babylon, or you are the feast of mystery Babylon. And now, after all these thousands of green jars kept under the bed, zinc-coated, porcelain tops, screwed on tight, Let us cross over into the Greek 566 in the word study and see what it could possibly mean to a Greek mindset. One who always seems to find a way to try and reject the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help them God. Apache, kind of like Apache is what it kind of reminds me of, but it's a verb that means to have, to receive. Literally, to have off or out, meaning to have all that is one's due, so as to cease from demanding or having any more. Thus the impersonal Apache means it is enough, as in, yea, the treasured word of Mark 14:41, and the Mashiach, Yahushua. And he came the third time and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? It is enough. The hour has come. Behold, the Son of Man is being betrayed to the hands of sinners. Yea, meaning you have slept enough. Yea, such as in Luke 22, 45 through 46, when he rose from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping from sorrow, and said to them, why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you may not enter into temptation. Yea, make sure you pray that prayer every day, mighty friend, that the temptation of Mystery Babylon would not overcome you or your children, that they would sing, yea, it is enough, and anticipate the glory of the everlasting truth in their hearts. Let's see what our brother Thea says. He's always short and sweet. The Thea definition, it is sufficient. It is enough. Oh, hallelujah, mighty Father. Yea. Oh, may your crown of thorns be turned into, yea, crowns of glory freely given back to the Father, yea, with each round of glory, yea, as each of the 4 willing bondservants sing their hearts, holy, 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 Yahushua HaMashiach is Yahovah in the glory, yea, upon the earth. Hallelujah, mighty friend. Yeah, so wisdom parted her pages at 566. Yeah, and we heard and saw the crocodile tears. Yeah, at the death of Solomon, the king. Yeah. Now the rest of the acts of Solomon and whatever he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the Acts of Solomon? Ye 2 Chronicles 9 and 29 be that faithful witness. Thus the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of his father David, the beloved king. And his son Rehoboam reigned in his place. Then Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had come to Shechem to make him king. Hallelujah. Now when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, heard, he was living in Egypt, that place that limits Jehovah. For he was yet in Egypt, where he had fled from the presence of King Solomon. 1 Kings 11:26 and a little bit there in 40. Yeah, like the years of his reign upon the earth. Then they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel, yea, the spiritual tribes, came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, Your father made our yoke hard. Now, therefore, lighten the hard service of your father, and his heavy yoke, which he put on us, and we will serve you. Then he said to them, Depart for 3 days, then return to me. Yea, in the spirit of truth within your heart. Yea, so the people departed. King Rehoboam consulted with the elders who had served his father Solomon while he was still alive, saying, How do you counsel to answer this people? Then they spoke to him, saying, If you will be a servant to this people today, and will serve them and grant them their petition, and speak good words, yea, good words to them, then they will be your servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the elders. Rehoboam is acting foolishly, like many young men blinded by the wiles of the wicked. Yea, and he consulted with the young men who grew up with him and served him. So he said to them, What counsel do you give me that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, Lighten the yoke which your father put on us? The young men who grew up with him spoke to him, saying, Thus you shall say to this people who spoke to you, saying, Your father made our yoke heavy, now you make it lighter for us. But you shall speak to them, My little finger is thicker than my father's loins. Whereas my father loaded you with a heavy yoke. The eyes will add to your yoke. Solomon, his father, disciplined all of them, even using with whips. But the eyes will discipline you with scorpions. Then Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the king had directed, saying, Return to me on the 3rd day. For 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the beast. The king answered the people harshly, for he forsook the advice of the elders, which they had given him. And he spoke to them according to the advice of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions. So the king did not listen to the people, for it was a turn of events from Yahovah, that he might establish his word, which Yahovah spoke through Jahr, the Shinite, to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. 1 Kings 11:11, even on 31. So the kingdom's going to be ended up divided, and Jeroboam's going to rule Israel. So when all Israel saw that the king did not listen to them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion do we have in David, the beloved king? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O spiritual sons of Israel. Now look after your own house, beloved one. So Israel departed to their tents, yea, the spiritual sons, into the tents of meeting, the tabernacles of their mind. 2 Samuel 20 is the faithful witness, yea, of the one that is for and everlasting. But as for the sons of the spiritual tribes of Israel who lived in the cities of Yehudah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the forced labor, and all Israel stoned him to death. And King Rehoboam made haste to mount his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel has been in rebellion against the house of the beloved one to this very day. It came about when all Israel heard that Jeroboam had returned, that they sent and called him to the assembly and made him king over all of Israel. None but the tribe of Yehudah followed the house of the beloved. Now when Rehoboam had come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Yehudah and the tribe of Benjamin. 180,000 chosen men who were warriors Anakites in their hearts and minds to fight against the house of Israel, to restore the kingdom to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. But the word of God came to Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Yehudah, and to all the house of Yehudah and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, saying, Thus says Yahovah, you must not go up and fight against your relatives, the sons of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing has come from me. The Eternal One, the Spirit of truth in a man's heart. So they listened to the word of mighty Yahovah and returned and went their way according to the word of the Eternal Father. Which way do you go, mighty friend? Is your wall like a razor blade? Yea, the edge like the crown upon the soles of your feet as you dance across it. Your steps sure, but then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. And he went out from there and built Penuel. Jeroboam said in his heart, Now the kingdom will return to the house of the beloved. If this people go up to offer sacrifices in the house of Yahovah at the New Jerusalem, then the heart of this people will return to their Mashiach, even to Rehoboam, king of Yehudah, and they will kill Jeroboam and return to Rehoboam, king of Yehudah. So the king consulted and made 2 golden calves, and he said to them, It is too much for you to go up to New Jerusalem. Behold your gods, O Israel. Ye little g, big S, that brought you up from the land of Egypt. Yea, your gods. He set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. Now, Hosea 10:5 is the faithful witness. Do you understand? Kings, yea, the kingdom of priests in the earth will search this matter out. Hosea 10:5. Now this thing became a sin, for the people went before the one as far as Dan. And he made houses on high places, and made priests from among all the people who were not of the sons of Levi. Jeroboam instituted a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like the feast which is in Yehudah. And he went up to the altar. Thus he did in Bethel, sacrificing to the calves which he had made. Jeroboam, the golden cow caster, in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like the feast which is in Yehudah. And he went up to the altar. Thus he did in Bethel, sacrificing to the calves which he had made. And he stationed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. Then he went up to the altar which he had made in Bethel on the 15th day in the 8th month. This is the first month we're in, the biblical month these scriptures speak of. So it's April now, so let's just count 8. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That 15th day of Saturnalia is a treasure they're speaking of here. And went up to the altar to burn incense. Now behold, the baker's dozen. Now behold, there came a man of God from Yehudah to Bethel by the word of mighty Jehovah, while Jeroboam was standing by the altar to burn incense. 2 Kings 12 and 22. The faithful witness. Shemaiah, the man of God. Telling him not to go up and fight against the people and do what they wanted. Ease their burden. And what did he do? He cried against the altar by the word of Jehovah, and said, O altar, altar, thus says Jehovah, behold, a son shall be born to the house of David, the house of the beloved, Josiah by name, and on you he shall sacrifice the priests of the high places who burn incense on you, and human bones shall be burned on you. Are you a bonesman? Are you is your right thigh bone broken? Or is it just stolen? With the tabernacle of the synagogue of Satan manifesting in men's hearts and minds their putrid seed birthed into the darkness where there is only the flaming fire's light. Then he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which Jehovah has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be split apart, and the ashes which are on it shall be poured out. John 2:18, the faithful witness. Now when the king heard the saying of the man of God, Shemaiah, which he cried against the altar in Bethel, Jeroboam stretched out his hand from the altar, saying, Seize him. But his hand, which he stretched out against him, dried up, so that he could not draw it back to himself. The altar also was split apart, and the ashes were poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of God had given by the word of Jehovah. The king said to the man of God, Please entreat Jehovah your God and pray for me that my hand may be restored to me. So the man of God entreated Jehovah, and the king's hand was restored to him, and it became as it was before. Yea, the power revealed in their heart. Would they believe? Then the king said to the man of God, Come home with me and refresh yourself, and I will give you a reward. But the man of God said to the king, If you were to give me half your house, I would not go with you, nor would I eat bread or drink water in this place. For so it was commanded me by the word of mighty Jehovah, saying, You shall eat no bread, nor drink water, nor return by the way which you came. So he went another way, and did not return by the way which he came to Bethel. Now there was an old prophet living in Bethel, and his sons, the sons of the prophet, came and told him all the deeds which the man of God had done that day in Bethel. The words, the words which he had spoken to the king, these also they related to their father. Their father said to them, Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Now, his sons had been seen, the way which the man of God who came from Yehuda had gone. Then he said to his sons, Saddle the donkey for me. So they saddled the donkey for him, and he rode away on it. Issachar, with a heavy load. So he went after the man of God, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said to him, Are you the man of God who came from Yehuda? And as the hoot owl, was heard, he said, I am. Meaning that he was that one under the oak, the one who came from Yehuda, unseen. Then he said to him, Come home with me and eat bread. He said, I cannot return with you, nor go with you, nor will I eat bread or drink water with you in this place. For a command to me by the word of Yahovah, yea, it came, and you shall eat no bread, nor drink water there. Do not return by going the way which you came. He said to him, I also am a prophet like you, and an angel spoke to me by the word of Yahovah, saying, Bring him back with you to your house, so he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied to him. So he went back with him, and ate bread in his house, and drank water. Now it came about. Are you listening? Pay attention now. Get you a little sip of that coffee, as you really need to pay attention. Almighty Father, thank you for the coffee, and thank you for the word that says nothing can, even poisonous drink could not come against your servants. Yea, let your word manifest as living water in your right hand, yea, leading us along the narrow way. Now it came about as they were sitting down at the table, that the word of Yahovah came to the prophet who had brought him back. And he cried to the man of God who came from Yehuda, saying, Thus says Yahovah, because you have disobeyed the command of Yahovah, and have not observed the commandment which Yahovah your God commanded you, but have returned and eaten bread and drunk water in the place of which he said to you, Eat no bread and drink no water. Your body shall not come to the grave of your fathers. It came about after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk, that he saddled the donkey for him, for the prophet whom he had brought back. Now when he had gone, a lion met him on the way and killed him, and his body was thrown on the road with the donkey standing beside it. The lion was also standing beside the body. 1 Kings 20 and 36 is the faithful witness, brother. And behold, men passed by and saw the body thrown on the road, and the lion standing beside the body. So they came and told in the city where the old prophet lived. Yea, in Bethel. Now when the prophet who brought him back from the way heard, he said, It is the man of God who disobeyed the command of Yahovah. Therefore Yahovah has given him to the lion, which has torn him and killed him, according to the word of Yahovah which he spoke to him. Then he spoke to his sons, saying, Saddle the donkey, yea, for each of our fathers. And they saddled it. He went and found his body thrown on the road with the donkey and the lion still standing beside the body. The lion had not eaten the body, nor torn the donkey. So the prophet took up the body of the man of God and laid it on the donkey and brought it back. And he came to the city of the old prophet to mourn and to bury him. He laid his body in his own grave. Do you understand? And they mourned over him, saying, Alas, our brother. After he had buried him, he spoke to his sons, saying, Yea, when I die, bury me in the grave in which the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the thing shall surely come to pass which he cried by the word of Jehovah against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria. After this event, Jeroboam did not return from his evil way. After this event, Jeroboam did not return from his evil way. But again he made priests on the high places from among all the people. Any who would, he ordained to be priests in the high places. This event became sin to the house of Jeroboam, even to blot it out and destroy it from off the face of the earth. Do you hear? This is the work of the Hon3y warrior. Yea, that those that would work iniquity and come against the willingness and the knowing of the humility and mercy of a righteous man to deceive him, that the lions would devour him along the road as he casts the seed of mustard to the army. Yea, guard your heart, guard your gate. Yea, guard your drink and your bread. Make sure that all the meat of the word is salted. Yea, with the spirit of truth, mighty friend. Yea, may your everlasting glory be found continually in your heart and in the tabernacle of your mind. Oh, what time is it now? Is the hoot owls going to sing? Or are they going to fly away? That's right. It's private eye time. Yeah, get that monocle out. Let's go to Hon3y.com. Hon3y.com. Yeah, and look at the top for 2 faithful witnesses. And move down to that first block. Yeah. And look for number 53. Tap on that 53, brother. And go to Hon3y 53. It's called Revelation Once More. And the picture, imagine the sea of fire and glass. Yea, your iPad And imagine the screen black and full. And then looking for red, blue, purple, and gold. Yea, the yesness of the purity of yes is seen. And its effects are threefold. So the goldenness seeks to know if it is to continue. The credits are red as 3. And the purity of the white, yea, the stars on the blue background. And the purple, yea, they are the wine, the ship, the sails, and the breeze. Hallelujah. So the sum of Hebrew Pi 53 is 173. So let us go to 173. And let's take a peek in the old brown driver. Aholibama. Aholibama. Now what in the world could that possibly mean? In the Hebrew it means tent of the high place. It also means the wife of Esau. And the last definition that it gives is an Edomite chieftain. So the Treasured Word Study gives us the name of the wife of Esau and that same Edomite chief, but it gives us all of the scriptures that back it up. So let's just look at a couple of these. Let's look at Genesis 36:14 for H173. These were the sons of Esau's wife. There it is, H173. Olibiamah, the daughter of Anah and the granddaughter of Zibeon. She bore to Esau Jeush and Jalem and Korah. First Chronicles 1:52. Chief Aholibama, there it is, H153. Chief Allah and Chief Pinon. Interesting. Now let us cross over into the Greek mindset in the word study. Well, isn't that interesting? It's almost made me think of a crown of thorns atop the obelisk in Washington, D.C. I think they call it the Washington Monument, that 666 inches wide, and I think it's 6,660 inches tall, or some numerically sinister number. But, it's points. The G173 is a point, or even a prick. Yeah, like the thorn or the briar which abounds with all pricks in a man's heart. Yeah, the words of Yeshua in Luke 6:44. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For men do not gather figs from thorns, Nor do they pick grapes from a briar bush, do they? So it could also have the meaning of something made of thorns, or something pointed like a stake. Yeah, a thorn. I'm kind of liking that stake in the hammer. Yeah, not grilled on the fire, but pulling that rope tight that's tied upon that badger skin. Yeah, that covers that washed lamb skin circumcised. That covers the black goat hair. That covers the coat of many colors of Joseph, the treasured son. And the Thea gives a couple of short and sweet definitions. Thorn, bramble, a bush, a briar, a thorny plant. It's kind of related, I think, to G188, which has the meaning at the present point of time, does it not? That point of time is like that bramble thorn, that flaming bush. Yeah, take your shoes off. Yeah. That the soul, yeah, your very soul can be cleansed in the holy place. Yeah, mighty friends, I hope your heart has been prepared for the rising of the sun. Yeah, the hope of glory in your heart, of the truth, the living word, to come alive in Hebrew Pi 53, revelation once more. Revelation once more. Secure your life. Come through the door. Collect your reward. Unite with revelation once more. The tabernacle within is the reward. The resurrected life that is everlasting. A blessing from the apostles and prophets of old. Hunt for the weapon. Let us gather them for the serpent who brings poverty and the coming war. May Hon3y help the poor men through the tabernacle door. O Father, walk with us. Nourish us with morning manna as the sun rises once more. Carry us who are poor and weak. Open our eyes that we may see and be more than broken holes upon the tabernacle floor. Grant us a humble heart for the needs of this world. Grant us atonement and reconciliation, a means to connect heaven upon the earth. Let us build a home filled with your presence. Let our doorway lead to spiritual knowledge of Yahshua and unity with him. Let us find and befriend the Eternal One, the one who indwells within. Yea, the Spirit of Truth, Yahushua HaMashiach, may he be in your heart, mighty friend, that your hope of glory can be given to that woman you love, that your joy would be made manifest and full as she pours the love you've given her into all the willing vessels of the earth, seen and unseen, her gift, her washing, her everlasting glory, treasure, pearl, greater than any ruby or gold in the earth. But what do you remember, dear friend? If you remember the word, then you will have the love of the truth manifested in the Father's perfect time, that you and your family, your way, the narrow way, would be prepared with the love of the truth in your heart. And when the evil day comes, ye to stand upon the earth with the knowing that nothing, our Father would not allow the thundering and the booming to touch his humble bondservants that walk in the revelation of truth. Remember, this world is trying to kill you, cunningly crafted with poison, food, and pharmakia devised by evil spirits within men's hearts. So be watchful of your temple gates. Let not their peals and their white rabbits enter into you, mighty friend. Drink not their alcohol. Yea, we are to be as two flames of fire in the night and columns of smoke in the day. And move in the word, seeking the revelation and the indwelling of Yahushua to radiate the love, his love, from each of our hearts into this dark mystery Babylonian world, that the twinkling of each one of their eyes would manifest the truth in the hearts of our neighbors, yea, in the hearts of all the willing vessels, yea, those that are fearful of the rod of iron that cracks the clay vessels, whose water refused, yea, the spirit of truth, which is the wine, yea, that your water could be turned into his blood, Yahushua HaMashiach. Yea, be groovy, y'all. You hear? Watch out for those white rabbits, as the white rabbits are something deeper. Sit not down with them, mighty friends, and be eaten by lions. Yea, stand in the cage, humble bondservants, that the lions would, yea, and the tigers would lay with the lamb as he dances and watches the white rabbit run to and fro in the green pasture, yea, by the number 5 wash tub of still water, waiting for the sole of your feet, mighty friends. Look at them toes, y'all.